Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. That's how you can get a hold of us with K3C Credit Counselling. Joel Grisé joining us this morning, 789-6559, extension 2803. Before we're going to get to an email in just 1 second, but as we were going through the 5 steps, the last one you really wanted to put some focus on was on the savings.
Savings. It's credit or use of credit and lack of savings generally fall hand in hand. Because we generally use credit for things that are unexpected, right? Or things that are coming up that are out of the ordinary, that don't fall into your pay-to-pay type of thing. So you can have car repairs that happen. You go, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for that? Or Christmas coming around, obviously, and there's so many others. Your friends getting married, you have to buy a suit. I mean, there's all these expenses that come out of the blue, and as soon as we find that we're finally getting ahead, they come up, right? You go, so the idea with savings is, at least when you're starting, I'm not talking at this point about RSPs, I'm talking about savings for things that are coming up. So ideally what we should be looking at doing is saying, okay, how much do you think you spend on car repairs in a year? And if you say, well, $1,200. And you say, okay, how much do you think I spend on clothing a year? Let's just keep it easy, another $1,200, right? And how much you spend on Christmas or gifts in general? And you say another $1,200, so that's $3,600. If you break it down, you're looking at $300 a month or $150 a paycheck. So if you find a way to stash that money aside, and savings should always be done automatically. So don't wait till the end of the month to put whatever you have left. It's not going to work. Make sure that it's treated as a bill. Make sure you treat it as important as your insurance coming out, or and it should be automatic, where your bank can take it from checking to savings and does it automatic. And then you don't want to have your savings account linked to your debit card, because if you do, then don't bother, right? It's so easy to just get to your savings from your debit card. So you want to make sure you have some barriers between your impulses and your savings account, right? So
that's good advice there. Have the debit for your checking.
Sure.
But maybe keep it so that you can't just, get into that savings so easily.
Right.
We do have an email that I want to get to, and I do believe it has to do with percentages and what we're seeing in terms of interest rates. I did home renovations and charged the materials to a builder's charge card. I looked at the bill last month, and I'm paying 18% interest. How do you ask them to reduce the rate, and will they? That's coming to us from Chantal.
The easy answer is that you can ask, and you can call them up and say, listen, I think this is unfair, and it's too much interest. But I do believe that at the end of the day, you're going to have a very hard time getting it reduced. Generally, they'll reduce the rate if they have a similar product with a lower interest rate. So most banks have different types of credit cards, right? So they might have a higher interest rate card, but you have perks on it, let's say, and they might have a lower interest rate cards with less perks. Well, you can maybe reduce it that way by changing the type of card that you have to a lower interest rate card. But to ask them to just reduce the rate, very difficult.
It's very difficult for individuals to do this. However, when people are using your services, and when you've amalgamated all of the different debt, you have an opportunity to work with different companies to figure out how to lower those rates.
I can get them stopped. Actually, most of the credit card companies that are around will stop interest as soon as you go through a debt management program with credit counseling. The problem is that it will affect your credit. So you have to understand that going through a debt management program does affect your credit. And we'll take away that card, we'll take away all of your card, and you can't just add the one card. We have to put the whole thing together. Otherwise, it doesn't work that way, right? So that's the unfortunate part. So maybe, try to consolidate at your bank, put it on a low interest line of credit, maybe something along those lines. If you're having difficulty, then I guess a call to our office would be a good place to start.
It's a good place to start. I think, though, when people first make that call, they might be ashamed. I mean, you probably deal with a lot of different emotions on that first time that you sit with someone and go through the issues. It's
never an easy call, and we all understand that and try to make it as pleasant as possible.
You get to talk to Joel.
We're all very, nice, and we've all been there a long time. We've all seen it, and there's no judgment. I mean, we don't judge. Who are we to do that? So the idea is that you come in, you get unbiased advice, you get a really good snapshot of your financial situation and your options. There's no fee, there's no obligation.
And you don't feel so
You know.
alone. I think for some people, they probably feel very alone in this.
Yeah.
But when they go, they realize other people have had these similar
Yeah.
issues.
Well, we
This is
have
how they've done
a
it.
big jar full of cut-up cards that we,
Oh,
we put
really?
in there. Yeah.
I can imagine.
In the waiting room, so everybody's like, is my card going to go in there? So,
You
maybe.
never know.
I don't
It
know.
could be very cleansing,
Yeah.
though. You know, as the credit card and the cut-up credit card.
I never have any tears when cutting up a credit card. Never, ever. Everybody's like, here you go, I'm done.
They've
You know.
figured it out.
Yeah.
They've learned.
I'm done.
You can always check out more information. The information was listed at the bottom of your screen, and take the opportunity to kind of look around the house, look through your accounts, and maybe take that free online assessment. You'll get a great feedback there. Or you can always check in for more information to book an appointment and to get in and to try to maybe get on top of things, especially too as we're starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed with coming through into the holiday season. Joel, always a pleasure. K3C Credit Counselling.org. We're going to take a short commercial break. Still plenty more to come actually here on CTV Morning Live, including the choir. We've got a bunch of great kids ready to sing for you this morning.